Going on, world? Jeff Lerner here, and today we are talking about how to be excellent on a consistent, repeating basis, how to not be like, frankly, sadly, most people who aren't, and how to essentially enjoy all the fruits and the rewards that come with being obsessively, almost disturbingly consistent to the average person. There's a great quote by Will Durant. Hey, Harold, how are you, man? Will Durant, who was a philosopher and a writer who wrote about philosophy, and in this case, he was writing about Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. And he said, he was summing up something that Aristotle said with a quote that usually gets attributed to Aristotle, but it was actually Will Durant who said it. He said, we are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not a virtue, but a habit. Ooh, I love that quote. It gets thrown around a lot because it's just so good. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is a virtue, is not a virtue, but a habit. Are you in the habit of being excellent? Now, as I say this, I have something ringing in my ears. I guess it was 3 days ago, 3 days ago. I was fortunate to get to interview a gentleman named Evan Carmichael for my show, my podcast and YouTube show called Millionaire Secrets. And I interviewed Evan Carmichael. And what he was saying, and he kind of been looking at my stuff, and he was like, Jeff, he's like, where I am in my career, this was Evan talking, he's like, I'm trying to reach everyone. And what I find is that when you come in too hot, when you start talking about excellence and you start talking about, discipline and rigor and achievement, and a lot of times, Jeff, he's like, I find that kind of language can go over a lot of people's heads. Now, depending on what business you're in, you may only want to reach people that resonate with that kind of language, he said. But for him, he's actually trying to reach people that are even maybe so far down in their life or so mired in the ordinary and the average and the mundane that they you start talking about excellence and achievement and all this sort of aggressive, proactive language, and they just tune out, they glaze over because they don't think it can be real for them. And in his words, he said, the biggest problem in this world is that people don't believe in themselves, and I totally resonate with that. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to let go of my choice of language and my choice of focus and kind of, for lack of a better term, water it down to be more average. I don't know. I have to ponder the question, but I'm certainly not there yet. Great interview, though. And he's a great dude, great entrepreneur, great inspiring person. Evan Carmichael, check him out on YouTube. He's tremendous. But for me, I'm still holding fast to my belief in excellence, awesomeness. I don't think we're here to have just a little better life. Like, whatever I got, even if it sucks, well, maybe I can just have a little better. I don't know. That doesn't seem interesting to me. Thank you, Harold. I appreciate the encouragement. I'm interested in a whole hell of a lot better than just okay. I'm interested in awesome. Maybe Evan and I can just agree that he can have helping a lot of people have a little better life and a little more belief, and I can just stick with helping some people, the people that are willing to believe, the people that are willing to embrace massive possibility for their life, helping them go full awesome. I think I could live with that. I don't know. Like I said, I still got to work through it, but for purposes of this video, we're here to talk about going full awesome. I want full awesome for your life. I hope you want full awesome for your own life. If not, I would challenge you as to why, but whatever. So here's the thing about full awesome. Full awesome is an everyday gig. It's a show up every day and work, do the deeds every day, do them a certain way that most people don't do, show up a certain way that most people don't show up, have a certain enthusiasm that most people don't carry, communicate in a way that most people don't communicate, prioritize logic and sanity over emotion and impulse and feelings in a way that most people don't. It's a very rare thing. It's a rare discipline, and it's intentional, and it's deliberate, and you forge it day after day after day. And I've really been kind of heavy lately, heavy with a sense of impermanence, heavy with a sense of fleeting commitment. And here's what I mean by that. So I've built this life for myself and this brand for myself that I'm super grateful for, and I'm loving every second of, where I'm known as a guy that evangelizes and stands for excellence and consistency and growth and opportunity and taking advantage of what's in the world, and not settling into this sort of sluggish, flat-footed way of being that seems to be so popular these days, where the world is a mess, and so therefore I'm a victim, and so I'll just let it all happen to me. Everybody I think that's in my world knows that is not how I am, and I love that I've created this, I've projected this idea, because it forces me, it holds me to a standard too, the standard that I want to be held to, the life that I want to have. It forces me to adhere to the values because I've put them out there so emphatically. But the, perhaps consequence of that is that I get a lot of messages. Hearts, by the way, hearts. Thank you guys. Thanks for the love. And maybe this is a good opportunity. I see somebody giving me hearts on Instagram. I appreciate it so much. If you're loving this, if you love my stuff, let the world know. Like, comment below, share. At least give me a like and maybe a share to your world. Look, I'm not perfect. I struggle in a lot of ways. I could fill a book with the things that I'm not good at, but I can tell you that my intentions are pure on this deal. Like, I am out to make change in the world. I am out to make the world a better place. I would not be putting myself out there and investing so much energy in this messaging and this connection that I'm building with the world if the only thing that could power this level of commitment is a genuine desire to make things better. There's really no self-interest that could give me this much energy. I'm not saying that I don't have a business that's growing on the back of it, an online education company that I'm very proud of and that I think does a lot of good in the world, but fundamentally, I just want to make a difference. And if you believe in what we're trying to do here, I appreciate so much a like and a share and a comment. Let me know your thoughts or how I can help or what I can talk about. But anyways, I thank you. Yeah, I see some responding. So because of my position now in the world, I get a lot of outreach, a lot of communication from people telling me about the changes that they're going to make in their life, telling me about the drive and the fire that's been lit. And very often, sometimes they say I've helped light it, and I love that. I love doing that with my life. And they share these big goals, these big dreams, big objectives, big plans. And the hard part about that for me is it's exciting when it starts. It's sad when it fizzles out. And given the vantage point that I have now of having hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands at this point, of people reach out to me with concrete commitments about what they're doing and how they're going to change their life, I've had occasion to view so many that are still going and still making awesome things happen in their life, but also so many who have fizzled out, or at least they've stopped messaging. They've stopped messaging me. They've stopped sharing. And I asked them, I said, keep me posted. I always put the ball back in there. That sometimes there's a condition in this world where we fail to fully realize how highly likely it is that we will get knocked off our course. That life will bog us down. Life will ensnare us into the absence of forward momentum, the absence of clear progress, the absence of massive, off-putting levels of action and commitment and drive to anybody else in your circle who isn't as committed. It's only the people that are that committed, that are abnormally committed to growth in their own life, that will understand when they see it in yours. Everyone else won't understand it. Everyone else won't understand why you're not available on a Friday night. Everyone else won't understand why you seem more withdrawn. You seem more focused. They'll say, "Oh, are you depressed? Are you okay?" And it's like, I'm not depressed. I have a goal. People will people, life, circumstance, not just people, and it's not just intentional. They'll find a way to drag you down. They'll find a way to knock you off your course. And so I've had, like I say, hundreds. I could scroll through my direct messages on my phone and find hundreds of cases of people that start telling me about their big plans and the big direction that they're going to go with their life. And I'm giving them feedback. I'm saying, yeah, keep me posted. And frankly, sometimes I don't give feedback because there's not enough time anymore to respond to everyone. I try. But whether I do or not, there's people that keep going and there's people that stop. And it's the people that stop that I wanted to talk about today. Because that stoppage, it's tragic. It's a death. Every time it's a death. It's a death of a potential life. The person who gets really fired up about all the changes that they're going to make in their life, and then 2 months later, 3 months later, 6 months later, 5 years later, whatever it is, when they finally back off, give up, give in, throw in the towel, settle, whatever the word is, when they do that, it is a death. You are killing your potential life. You are looking your future in the eye and saying, you, the version of me that could be 10 years from now, I am going to kill you. I am going to bury you in the ground. I'm going to rob you of your potential. I'm going to rob you of your future joy. I'm going to rob you of the impact that you could make in this world because I don't have the energy, or I don't have the focus, or it's too hard, or I can't handle the criticism, or I'm too insecure, or I'm afraid of how awesome I could be and the light that I'm going to shine out to the world, it's going to be too bright. It's going to blind me and everyone else around, and I can't take it. I want to settle. I want to go back to normal. I want to go back to my friends. I want to go back to being the way that people have grown accustomed to me being so that they won't ask me all the questions about why I've changed so much. I want to go back to that. And every time that happens, a future, potential, amazing, vibrant, world-changing person is killed. And I have so much death and so much tragedy in my life now because of the position that I've taken of being this bearer of light, this spreader of good news to the world that, like, you can do it, it's possible, and there's tools and there's strategies and there's a real way to do it that's not just pie in the sky, but it's going to take what may feel at times like superhuman effort and commitment from you and a willingness to block out most of what the world tells you about your own life. And I'm just one person, and thankfully there's a movement brewing, and there's the word is caught on, and we're thousands strong now, but at the end of the day, the rest of the world is billions strong. It's billions strong. There's billions of points of reinforcement out there to tell you to settle for the average. And thankfully, we've created thousands that will tell you to strive for more, but sometimes we lose. And that's what I want to talk about today, is how to hopefully mitigate those losses, how to hopefully grow more lives and prevent more deaths. Because we are what we repeatedly do. And this is a conversation about how to safeguard against inconsistency. That's the thing that people have to realize. Inconsistency is so much more pernicious. It is so much more destructive than people realize. Inconsistency can feel nice. It can feel like taking a day off. It can feel like, soaking up the rays, or sipping the pina colada, or just, stopping and smelling the roses. All these positive images we associate with missing a day, backing off for a time. And I'm not saying that you don't occasionally earn a respite. I mean, I just got back. I spent a week in LA with my wife, just enjoying our time together. But I've been grinding for 2 years. And finally I said, babe, we're going away for a week. We've earned it. But I've been grinding for 2 years. And even then, we go out of town. We found one of the 3 gyms in a 100 square mile area in LA that actually had the gym open. I'm sorry, we found one of the 3 hotels that actually had the gym open. Because we don't want to miss a day. There's certain things where you just don't miss days. And I worked. I didn't like not get out my laptop. I worked a little every day. I made sure that I kept certain flames lit. Inconsistency is the enemy of progress. It's the enemy of the life that you want. And it's the cause for many of the life that you have, the one that you're messaging me sometimes saying, I want more. I want to get out of this. I want to get above this. I want to get through this. It's usually anything in your life that you don't like. Think about it. Anything in your life that you don't like has at some level at its foundation inconsistency, a failure to consistently do the excellent, correct thing all the time. Where there are inconsistencies in doing the excellent, right thing, there will be consequences in the state of our life that we don't like. Inconsistency. God, it's so boring to just be consistent. So boring. But you know what's not boring? Results. Winning. Having a life that you love. That is not boring. Especially when you start realizing how unique and special it is. And that sadly, most people don't have it. Then suddenly, the boring, the mundane, the repetitive, the consistent becomes so rich and so fun. My therapist told me, he said, Jeff, you got a lot of talent, you got a lot of gifts, but you lack structure. He said, I want you to go home. He said, whether you do this or not, metaphorically, I want you to go home and in henna on your arm, I want you to write, structure is my best friend. He said, if you could get structure in your life, you could do so much more. That was probably 8 years ago he said that to me. And it wasn't a perfect switch. It didn't flip and suddenly I was super dialed and consistent, but I've been working hard to get there. And I can tell you that, you know, the more consistent I get, the better things go. And what I have found, this is ultimately what I want to talk about in this video, is that the key to consistency is guarding against inconsistency. For me, if you're doing the things that you want to do and that you know you should do and that are rewarding to do, they are the things that you will naturally do if you stay intensely focused on your goals. If you focus hard enough on the point on the horizon that you're trying to reach, your feet will naturally walk in the right direction. Where you look, where you point your vision and your energy and your focus is ultimately where your choices and where your behaviors will lead you. So the key to being consistent is to eliminate the things in our life, to take preventative action against the inconsistency, the distractions, the things. This is why I have such a boring life. In fact, I'm going to share this. I'm going to show this. I want to visibly demonstrate to people how boring my life is. And that's why I love it so much, because I just don't really allow inconsistencies and distractions and all the crap that we get excited about and stimulated by when we're unhappy, when we're frustrated in our daily grind of a life. And we're like, I seek more. I want more. I want to, go try this thing. I want to do this distraction. I want to have this escape. Those are things that you're wanting because you haven't actually built the core of your life to be so rewarding and so fulfilling that you actually seek no escapes. You actually seek no distractions. So tomorrow, our video crew, they're going to trade off in shifts, and they're literally going to film me for the entire day. I'm doing a video tomorrow, creating a video that's called A Day in the Life of an Entrepreneur. And they're going to be at my house. They're meeting me at the gym, actually, at 4:30. I'll get up at 3:30. I'll film with my camera the first hour. And then I'll meet them at the gym at 4:30, and they're going to film me all the way till the end of my last appointment at 6 o'clock. And it's just going to be my life without deviation, without distractions, without diversions, without a need for anything other than exactly what's on the calendar to do. Because it's just so fun and so rewarding to just do the things I know that I should do and nothing more. And I want to share that. I want to show the world what consistency looks like. I have been the most consistent ever in my life for the last 2 years. And in the last 2 years, I have accomplished more with my life than I probably accomplished in the previous 10. Not because I've come up with some fanciful extra thing that I do, but because I've actually removed all the extra things that I do. Harold, I don't know when it'll air. It'll take a while. I mean, it's going to probably be close to 18 hours of footage, so they'll have to whittle it down and edit it into a 10, 12-minute video. It may take a month, but I'm excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And anyway, it actually speaks to one of the two things that I want to share about how you maintain consistency. First of all, broadcast yourself. Put yourself out there. Do exactly what I've been modeling for the last 2 years. Figure out what the best version of yourself looks like, what he has to say, what he or she has to say, and start letting them speak to the world. Letting them be seen by the world. You will naturally level up. You will naturally rise to the level of your own best self if you start giving your best self a voice. How many of us sit down at certain times of our life and we think about what we should do? We think about what the best version of ourselves would or could or should be doing at any given time. And then we move on with our day. We never gave it life. We were in a moment. We were in our head. We were steeping in possibility of what the best version of ourselves could be, should be. And then we close it down and we move on to the next thing. Why not let it out? Get your phone out. Capture the moment. Let the best version of yourself that you're pondering in that time, let it have a voice. Let it say what it has to say and put that out to the world and see what happens. Trust me, I've been doing it for 2 years. I've accomplished more in 2 years than I accomplished in the previous 10. That's step one. Start putting yourself out there. You will create a thread of consistency in your life because you can't. Once you're out there, what are you going to do? You're going to disappear? You're going to back off? You're going to go back into hiding? No. Once you start that ball rolling, you want to keep it going. And here's what's crazy. People will start giving you feedback and go, I like that. I like who you were in that moment. Can I talk to him or her again? Now you've got people rooting for you. The other thing you can do, and this is sort of the unique idea that I had for this video, is I realize I've got these things in my life that I've put in place. They're like structural reinforcements. They're like the buttresses that hold up the quality and the productivity and the effect of my life. And they're things that I've had to put in place intentionally. So I think of these now as like the canaries in my coal mine. If you're familiar with the concept of a canary in the coal mine, the canary is an early indicator when there's a problem. My father-in-law was actually an underground coal miner, and they use sensors for this now. They have digital sensors, but in the old days, they used to go into the mines with canaries. They'd have a little canary in a bird cage, and they would hang it in the coal mine down where everybody was working. And basically, if there was a carbon monoxide release or some other noxious gas building up in the mine, the canary would die before it would affect the humans. And the reason is because canaries have really small respiratory systems with really fast heart rates. And so they're turning over their air in their body a lot faster than human beings are. So that carbon monoxide would kill the canary before the humans had even had a chance to inhale enough of it to get sick. But when your canary keeled over, and the canary was good because canaries sing, right? They're singing, and all of a sudden the music stops. The canary song stops, and you're like, oh, canary. Oh, canary's dead. Shit, we got to get out of here, right? So canaries in your coal mine, they're early indicators of problems. So if you've been subscribed to me for any length of time or following my stuff, you know that I organize life into physical, personal, and professional categories of life. And, the one question I get is like, well, what about your religion or your worship or your spirituality? And I actually parse that and organize it and fit it within both physical and personal because it has elements of both. But that's a separate conversation. The point is, physically, personally, and professionally, those are the areas I find that if I maintain consistent excellence of energy and focus, doesn't mean my production is always excellent. Frankly, some of my lives just suck. I go back and watch where I'm like, what was I? I was clearly befuddled that day, but the intent, the goal, the drive, the energy, the consistency, the repetition, that I stay pretty on top of. But and physically, personally, and professionally, and that's That's how I look at my life. I like to scan my life, and this is what I'm excited about this documentation tomorrow of a day in the life, is I hold a pretty high standard that every single minute of my life should be contributing to physical, personal, or professional growth. If not, what's the point? Why are you doing it, right? I mean, you could argue that even going to the bathroom is a form of physical growth. Brushing your teeth, like it should all serve a purpose. It should all have intention and thought behind it. But it's hard. Like life is hard. There's a lot to keep track of, right? A lot of distractions, a lot to juggle. So I like to have these things in my life that are the canaries in my coal mine of each area of my life. So physically, for example, what's a canary in my physical coal mine? So I have to build things in to my structural routine that will give me early warning about regression. If something's starting to go off the rails, I need things that'll tell me, hey, there's an issue before it gets out of hand, right? So as I was prepping this live, I'm like, what are my canaries in my coal mine for each of these buckets? I mean, I'll just share mine. The point isn't for you to have mine. The point is for you to have yours. But I think this is important. This is how you safeguard against inconsistency. I mean, obviously, there's all the things about having a powerful mission statement, having a strong reason as to why you want to do what you want to do, having maybe do a vision board, have a really great picture in your mind of who you want to become, start giving voice to that person. Again, I love broadcasting through social media because it just allows that person to blossom into a real being in the world. But then you have to backstop it with these safeguards against starting to slip, right? Yeah, cutting losses quickly, exactly. And recognizing that there's a loss happening. That's the problem. You think about somebody who gets diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. They didn't know. They didn't know that that something was going haywire in their body until it's too late, right? And there's no way to cut that loss. So physically, I have a couple I'll share with you. One is I hold my breath. Occasionally, just here and there, without, on a whim, I do a lot of times when I'm driving, I'll just stop. I won't do it right now, but I hold my breath. And if in the moment I can't hold my breath for 1 minute, that's just a number I've kind of come up with for me as a good indicator, I recognize that something's gone off. Like in any situation for me, I should be able to hold my breath for a minute. And so occasionally I'll do it. And if I can't hold it for a minute, I go, okay, wait, stop. My blood pressure must be elevated. My emotions must be, miscalibrated. Like something's got the better of me. I'm in my, probably my sympathetic nervous system is firing. I'm being reactive. Like what's going on? And it's just a check-in. The nice thing about your physical body is we have built-in feedback. Like we don't have to look to an external source to get feedback from our body. It's right there. We just have to stop and check in on it, right? Another thing I do is every Sunday I have I call it my LDS church because I live in Utah and LDS is like the Mormons and they call it LDS. But for me, LDS has nothing to do with that. LDS is Legs Day Sunday. Every Sunday I go to the gym and I work out my legs. And I have a very specific routine. I squat a certain amount that's a percentage of my body weight. And I squat it for a certain number of sets and a certain number of reps going to a certain depth. It's a fixed behavior that I do once a week. And I can tell, I swear, it tells me if I've been off with my nutrition, if I've been off with my sleep, if I'm off with my focus, if I'm distracted, if I'm stressed, it tells me. Because it's so hard that I can only do it if my life is optimized. So anyway, those are some examples. I have a few others, but those are like 2 examples of my physical, the canaries in my physical coal mine, right? Now, personal. What are the canaries in my personal coal mine? One of them, silly as this is, right here. Wait, you can see it maybe here, maybe here. It's my snap score with my wife. We're at 165. We have a 165 streak on Snapchat. So what that means is that every single day for 165 consecutive days, and before that we had one that was like 100, but we accidentally broke it because I had a bad day. It means every day my wife and I send each other a snap. We take a picture, we take a goofy picture, we make a face, whatever, and we send it to each other. If I have a day go by where I don't have the wherewithal or the flexibility or the desire to have a lighthearted, playful exchange with my wife via this one simple thing, that's probably an indicator that something is off in my personal life. I get emotional when I talk about her, just that part of my life. But basically, it's the first indicator of anything being askew, because if my passion and my interest and my energy and my joy in that part of my life starts to deviate at all to where it's not a natural thing. I mean, ideally, we should be sending each other 10 snaps a day, but this is at least an indicator that we did one. And by the way, that's pretty much that and some of my son's friends are the only people that I communicate with on Snapchat. For all of my social marketing and all the content that I put out there, I have reserved Snapchat as my actual personal communication channel where I can use it for things like this. But anyway, that's an indicator. That, and then we have a nighttime routine every night. Those tell me if something is going off the rails in my personal life. And I don't have to wonder. I don't have to wake up one day to, somebody telling me they want a divorce, or to somebody telling me they've got a drug problem, or somebody, to find out that some horrible thing is happening in my personal life. Because I'm checking in on it every single day. I have a canary in that coal mine. And then my professional coal mine for me, for example, I mentioned doing these lives. Listen, here's the thing about going live. Here's the thing about talking to the world. Just like you can't go to the gym and work out hard and exert yourself energetically if you haven't been consuming good nourishment, if you haven't been having good input in order to go have good output, you can't do this. You cannot do what I'm doing right now if you don't have good nourishment going into your brain. And so the fact that I push myself to go live on a consistent basis and try to carry on this ongoing conversation about excellence and drive and passion and goals in my life and what I want to do and my mission to serve others and hopefully create a coming together and a positive impact in the world, this forces me to be consuming good nourishment intellectually and emotionally and professionally, right? I can't be watching stupid television and reading stupid articles on HuffPost and expect to have any real value to turn around and offer the world. So I find that going live on a consistent basis is a great canary in my professional coal mine to make sure that I'm continuing to develop personally and professionally. And then another one, for example, is actually at an accounting level, at an actual tangible money level. I use a method of accounting in my business and my life called Profit First Accounting. There's a great book called Profit First. You can definitely go read it. But the cool thing about Profit First Accounting is it tells you, a lot of people use, and in the book he talks about, a lot of people use bank balance accounting, right? They look at their checking account, and if there's money there, they go, oh, I must be doing okay. And if there's not, they go, oh, I need to cut back and make more money. But no, profit, so that's always a lagging indicator. You're not seeing the indicator until it's representing a pre-existing problem. It's reporting back to you about something that's already gone wrong. Profit First Accounting basically uses a model where you're transferring percentages of your main revenue account into different sub-accounts, and then you're operating out of those sub-accounts where if one of those has a shortfall, it's early enough that you can go take corrective action and you haven't actually run out of money. So that's just an example of a canary in the professional coal mine. I have an accounting canary, and I have a content and mental development canary in my professional coal mine. These are the things that I have found, if I build my life around these things, I'm living the life I want. So I would turn that and ask you, what are the things that you can implement in your life that are going to give you consistent daily feedback where the music is going to stop if something's wrong early enough for you to get yourself out of there, back to safety, and take corrective action? Think about it. Maybe comment below. Wherever you're seeing this video, maybe leave a comment. What are the things you can institute in your life that would give you that kind of feedback? And in general, is this inconsistency thing a challenge? Do you agree with me that anything in our life that we don't like somehow reflects an inconsistency of doing the right things all the time? I think that's what I have to say. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling inspired. I'll tell you, I love this stuff. I feel like I get as much out of this as anybody else. So thanks for giving me a platform to have these conversations and talk about what I believe is the real stuff in this world that gets so often neglected in favor of a bunch of trivial stuff that doesn't matter. Man, we're getting lots of feedback. Again, let me know your comments. If you like these conversations, please do give me a like. Maybe share it with the world if you think this is a message that the world needs more of. And just safeguard against inconsistency. Be so consistent that people that don't understand think you're lame. When people around you that are always frittering and trying to have fun and be stimulated as an escape from their general life, when they start to think that you're really lame, you're probably actually getting more in the lane of success. All right, thanks everyone. I will catch you on the next conversation. Appreciate everyone.